The Orion's Mercy spaceport floated quietly among the stars. It was a beautiful place, shaped like a giant silver wheel, spinning slowly above a calm blue moon. Inside, creatures from 100 different worlds walked through wide halls, spoke in many languages, and traded rare goods. The rules here were simple: no fighting, no touching, and no interfering in another species' customs. Peace came first. Callan Rowe, a human engineer, was sitting alone at a cafe on level 7. He had just finished a long job fixing a broken fusion core on a mining ship, and now he just wanted rest. He stirred his tea slowly, watching the crowd. He liked this place. No one bothered him here. He noticed a group of Vihari walking past. They were tall, elegant beings with glowing silver skin and long robes that shimmered like starlight. Their eyes were deep violet, and they moved with calm grace. Most people gave them space. The Vihari were known for their strict customs and old laws, especially about physical contact. Even accidental touch could be seen as a serious crime. One of them stood out. She was younger, smaller, and wore no robe, only a thin light blue outfit that showed she was not yet of noble status. Her name was Sarava, though Callan didn't know that yet. She looked around with wide eyes, curious and excited. She seemed amazed by the colors, the sounds, and all the strange things in the market. 2 guards followed her, dressed in golden armor. They didn't speak, but their eyes stayed sharp. Suddenly, a loud alarm rang through the spaceport. Red lights flashed, people screamed. A small delivery drone had gone off course, crashing into a support beam above the walkway. The beam creaked, broke, and began to fall. It all happened in seconds. Callan saw it, too fast to think. The falling beam was huge, made of steel and cables, and it was heading straight for the young Vihari girl. Everyone else froze. She looked up, her eyes wide with fear, and then Callan ran. He jumped over a bench, dodged a food cart, and reached her just in time. He grabbed her with both arms and pulled her out of the way, throwing them both to the ground. The beam crashed down where she had been standing, sending sparks and dust into the air. The noise was deafening. For a few seconds, no one moved. Then the guards ran forward, shouting in their language. They grabbed Callan roughly, pulling him off. The girl. One of them pressed a glowing staff against his back, freezing his muscles. He dropped to the floor, unable to speak or move. The girl sat up, coughing. Her silver skin was scratched, and her long hair was covered in dust. But she was alive. "Wait, stop," she cried. "He saved me." But the guards didn't listen. More security officers arrived, this time from the spaceport's neutral force. They surrounded Callan and began speaking into their comms. One officer looked down at him with a cold expression. "You made contact with a protected Vihari," the officer said. "Under interspecies law, this is a Class 3 violation." "I was saving her," Callan said, his voice weak. "She was going to die." "Intent does not erase action," the officer replied. Sarava stood up, trying to speak, but a Vihari elder placed a hand on her shoulder. "You must be silent, child. This matter is not yours to speak on." "But he helped me," she whispered. Callan was lifted by 2 guards and led away. He didn't fight. His arms hurt. His head felt dizzy. All he could see as he was taken was the girl's eyes, wide and filled with tears. They took him to a holding cell deep inside the spaceport's central security station. The walls were white and clean, but the air felt cold. A small light blinked above the door. Callan sat on the bench, his head in his hands. He had done the right thing, hadn't he? He saved her life. But here he was, locked up, treated like a criminal. A Vihari official entered the room. He wore a silver badge and a dark cloak. "I am Arivos, Judge of First Contact Affairs," the man said. "You are Callan Rowe of Earth?" "Yes," Callan said. "I saved a girl. That's all I did." Arivos nodded slowly. "And in doing so, you broke the first touch protocol. Do you understand the meaning of that law?" "I don't care what the law says. She would be dead if I didn't help her." Arivos didn't seem angry. He looked more tired than anything else. The law is old, ancient. It was made to protect our people from corruption, from harm, and from dishonor. Even a kind act can lead to chaos. Callan frowned. I don't want to hurt her. I just didn't want to watch someone die. I believe you, Aravos said. But belief is not law. You will be transferred to a Vihari holding facility. There your case will be judged. Callan leaned back against the wall. So I'm being punished for doing the right thing? Sometimes, Aravos said softly. The right thing and the allowed thing are not the same. Back in the high halls of the Vihari embassy, Sarava sat in silence. Her father spoke with Aravos through a hollow screen. Words floated in the air, glowing in blue script. She could see her father's face, stern and disappointed. He is to be held, he said. The law is clear. But he saved me, Sarava shouted. He didn't do anything wrong. Your safety does not change our ways, her father said coldly. You will return to Vihar Prime at once. Sarava looked away, her hands clenched. She could still feel the warmth of Callan's arms when he pulled her from danger. No one had ever touched her like that before. Real, human contact. Not cold, not fearful, but brave. Kind. She looked out the window at the stars, and she made a quiet promise. If the law would not save him, then she would. The stars outside the prison ship looked calm. They sparkled like tiny gems far away from the world of pain and silence inside. Callan Rowe sat in a small cell, his back against the wall. The floor was smooth and cold. A soft blue light glowed from above, never too bright, never too dark. There were no windows, no clocks, only silence. He had been here for 2 days, or maybe more. He wasn't sure. Time moved slowly in this place. The guards didn't speak. They were tall Vihari, their faces hidden by silver helmets. Food came through a small slot in the wall. Tasteless cubes. Water with no flavor, no sound, no visitors. Just him, alone. Callan kept replaying the moment in his head. The moment the beam fell. The girl looking up, her eyes wide, the fear on her face. His legs had moved before his mind did. He didn't even think. He just acted, and now he was a prisoner for it. Far away, on Vihar Prime, the homeworld of the Vihari, Sarava sat in her chamber, watching the news feed on her hollow screen. The room was filled with soft music and flowing light, but none of it reached her heart. Every channel told the same story. Human violates contact law to face trial on high-orbit prison. Some of them even showed a clip of Callan being taken away. One news anchor called it a sad but just act. Another called him a danger to our way of life. But none of them said what really mattered. He saved her life. Sarava turned off the screen. Her hands were shaking. She had tried speaking to her father again, but he refused to listen. You are young, he had said. You do not understand the weight of law. This human acted wrongly. Even if he meant well, he broke a sacred rule. Sarava shouted, Then the rule is wrong. Her father had left the room without another word. She knew what had to be done. If the law would not help Callan, then she had to do something herself. Back on the prison ship, Callan heard the sound of footsteps. Slow, heavy boots on the metal floor. The door hissed open. A guard stepped in, followed by another figure, taller, wearing black robes with silver lines across the chest. The figure had no helmet. His face was old, with smooth silver skin and wise purple eyes. I am Warden Varel, he said calmly. You are Callan Rowe of Earth. That's me, Callan said, standing up. You will be held until the council decides your fate, the warden said. There is no escape from this place. It floats above the gas giant Juris 7, far from any system. If you try to flee, you will fall into the clouds and vanish forever. Callan didn't reply. He had no plan to escape. Not yet. Warden Varel watched him quietly. You're not angry. I am, Callan said. But not at you. I'm angry at a law that punishes people for doing the right thing. Varel nodded slowly. Many laws begin with good meaning, but over time they grow hard, like stone, and stone does not bend. Then someone has to break it, Callan said. The warden stared at him, then turned and left. Meanwhile, Sarava walked into a hidden room under her family's mansion. It was an old place, dusty and full of ancient tech. This was her late mother's secret chamber, a place she had used long ago to study other worlds. Sarava remembered it from childhood. She touched the wall and the power came alive. Screens lit up. Maps of space, systems, and flight paths appeared in front of her. One screen showed the location of Juris 7 and the prison orbiting it. She pulled out a crystal shard from her pocket. It was small and silver, with glowing lines. She had stolen it from her father's desk the night before. It gave her access to special systems, ships, doors, communication links. Sarava whispered, "I'm coming, Callan. Just hold on." Back in the prison, Callan wasn't alone anymore. Another prisoner had been moved into the cell next to his. His name was Bren Talos. A thick-scaled alien from a world called Veron. Bren had sharp yellow eyes and a deep voice. He had been locked up for stealing Vihari technology, but he wasn't cruel, just tired. "You touched a noble?" Bren asked one day, leaning against the wall between their cells. "Not on purpose," Callan said. "I saved her." "Still, counts." Bren chuckled. "These people don't care why. Touch is sacred, law is law." Callan sighed. "Then the law is broken." "Maybe," Bren said. "But broken laws don't free prisoners. What you need is someone willing to break rules." Callan smiled. "I might know someone like that." Sarava knew she couldn't do it alone, so she contacted someone she had met before. Kale Voss, a hacker who worked in the underlayers of Vihari, space. He was young, fast, and always hungry for a challenge. "You want to break into the prison?" Kale said, surprised. "That place is floating above a gas giant. No one gets in, no one gets out." "I have the crystal," Sarava said. "I have his location, and I have a reason." Kale stared at her for a moment, then he smiled. "Well, I always wanted to visit a floating prison." Back at the prison, lights flickered. It was small at first, a flash, a pause, a low hum in the air. Then a soft whisper came through the wall. Callan leaned close. "Callan, can you hear me?" His eyes went wide. "Sarava?" "I'm here," she said, her voice shaky but clear. "I'm inside the network. We're working on it." "How?" Callan asked. "I can't explain now," she said. "But I won't let them keep you, I promise." "Sarava, this could get you in trouble." She didn't answer for a moment. Then she said, "Let them try." In the shadows of Vihar Prime, alarms were starting to go off. The council chambers received a warning. Unauthorized access detected in prison systems. But it was already too late. Sarava had begun the first steps. She had broken the law by speaking to a prisoner. She had stolen access codes. She had connected to the most secure system in the quadrant, and she was not finished yet. Sarava stood in the center of the dark control room, her hands glowing with blue light as she touched the floating screens around her. The old systems clicked and beeped. She moved fast, focused, her fingers entering codes she wasn't supposed to know. Kale Voss, the hacker, sat nearby, chewing a piece of candy and watching the data stream. "You're fast," Kale said. "You sure you were born into royalty? Because you act like a rebel." "I never asked to be noble," Sarava said, quietly. "I only wanted to live freely, but now, I just want to save him." Kale raised an eyebrow. "Him? You mean the human?" Sarava nodded. "He broke your laws," Kale said. "And I'm going to break more," she replied. Far away, orbiting the gas giant Juris 7, the prison floated in silence. Its black walls were smooth and cold. No sound came from outside. Inside, Kalen Rowe sat on his bench, staring at the small vent above the door. He couldn't sleep. The days were the same, gray food, gray walls, and gray silence. The only voice he heard was Bren Talos, the alien prisoner next door. But tonight even Bren was quiet. Until suddenly the lights flickered. The usual soft blue glow turned red for a second. Then back to blue. Then red again. A siren beeped. Short. Soft. Then it stopped. Callan stood up. "Bren?" Bren's deep voice came through the wall. "Something's wrong. That's a system warning. That never happens." Then a soft voice entered the room. It came from the speaker in the ceiling. "Callan, it's Sarava." He froze. "Sarava? You're still connected?" "Yes. And I'm inside their systems now. I found a back way into the prison's controls. I can open door, maybe even disable the guards." Callan looked at the locked door. "You're risking everything." "I know. I've already broken 3 laws just talking to you," she said with a small laugh. "But I don't care. You saved me. Now I save you." He shook his head in disbelief. "You don't owe me anything." "I do," she said, "because no one else will stand up for you, or for what's right." Back at the mansion on Vihar Prime, Sarava's father, Lord Valen, sat in his study. A guard rushed in, eyes wide. "My lord, someone has accessed restricted systems. High-orbit prison alarms have been triggered." Lord Valen stood up. "Who?" "We believe it's your daughter." He froze. "No," he whispered. "She wouldn't." The guard showed a screen. A picture appeared. Sarava, inside the secret control room. "She is trying to help the human escape," the guard said. Lord Valen closed his eyes. "She leaves me no choice. Activate the Royal Command Fleet. Stop her." Back on the prison ship, Callan heard the heavy doors click open. He stepped back as the cell door slid sideways with a hiss. Outside, 2 guard bots stood still. Their lights were off. "Go," Sarava's voice said from the speaker. "You have 10 minutes before they restart. Run!" Callan didn't wait. He ran down the hallway, boots echoing on the floor. Bren's voice called out, "Wait, human!" Callan stopped. "Bren, your door! Can it open?" "Already did," the deep voice replied. Bren stepped out. He was huge. Scales like armor, eyes like fire. He grinned. "Looks like we're escaping together." As they moved through the halls, Sarava guided them. "Go right. Down the maintenance stairs. Don't use the lifts. They're locked." Bren laughed. "She's good." Callan smiled. "She's more than good. She's amazing." They reached the service bay where small repair ships were stored. The door was locked. "I can't open that door yet," Sarava said. "Give me 30 seconds. Suddenly, footsteps echoed behind them. 4 real guards. Not robots. Real Vihari with silver armor and electric staffs. "There!" one shouted. Callan grabbed a metal pipe from the wall. Bren cracked his knuckles. "Been a while since I stretched." The guards attacked. Callan ducked the first blow, using the pipe to knock one staff away. Bren slammed into 2 guards, throwing them to the floor. But one guard stabbed Callan in the side with a shock rod. Pain shot through him. He fell. Before the guard could strike again, the door behind them hissed open. Cale Voss stood there in a stolen uniform. "Get in fast," he shouted. Callan and Bren stumbled inside. The ship was small, built for repairs, but it had engines and shields. Kyle jumped into the pilot seat. "Buckle in. This is going to be rough." As the ship blasted out of the prison dock, alarms screamed across the station. Red lights filled the halls. More guards chased after them, but it was too late. The repair ship shot into space. They were free, but not safe. From the surface of Vihar Prime, the Royal Command Fleet launched. 12 sharp silver ships rose into the stars, fast and deadly. At the same time, Sarava's hideout was discovered. Guards surrounded the building. She looked at Kale's screen. The prison escape ship was moving fast, but the fleet would catch them. Kale's voice came through. "Sarava, we're clear, but we won't make it far. They're sending warships." "I'll handle it," she replied. She stood, turning to the secret door. She had one last idea. It was dangerous. It was illegal. But it might save them. Sarava took her mother's old ship, a hidden vessel made for speed and stealth. She launched into orbit. The stars lit up around her. "Callan," she said through the comm, "I'm coming to you." Back on the escape ship, Callan held his side, bleeding slightly. Bren flew now, while Kale worked on the navigation. "We won't make it to jump speed," Kale said. "They'll catch us first." Suddenly, a bright light appeared on their screen. A ship came out of nowhere, fast, sleek, and beautiful. "Sarava," her voice came through. "Follow me." She flew in front of them, her ship shining like a blade of light. Together they turned away from Jura 7 and headed for open space. The Vihari fleet tried to catch them, but Sarava knew their systems. She used secret codes to delay the pursuers, sending false signals and jamming comms. It worked. For now. They jumped to hyperspace. Safe, for the moment. Inside the ship, Callan sat back, breathing hard. Sarava's face appeared on the screen. She looked tired, but her eyes were full of light. "You did it," Callan whispered. "You saved me." Sarava smiled. "Now we're both criminals." Bren laughed. "Welcome to the club." Kale clapped his hands. "That was the wildest thing I've ever seen." Callan leaned closer to the screen. "Sarava, why did you risk everything?" She paused, then said, "Because the law said you were wrong. But I saw the truth. You were brave. You were kind. And no one should be punished for saving a life." Callan smiled. "Then what now?" Sarava looked at the stars. "Now," she said, "we run. And maybe one day, we fight." The stars stretched into long lines as the ship raced through hyperspace. Inside, the stolen repair ship shook a little, but the passengers stayed quiet. Callan sat in the back, holding a cloth to his side where the guard had hit him. The wound wasn't deep, but it still burned. Across from him, Bren Talos sat on a metal crate, chewing on a protein bar and smiling like this was just another fun trip. Kale Voss, still at the controls, looked a little pale. "We're out of fuel cells," he muttered. "One more jump and we're stuck floating." "And the Royal Fleet?" Kalen asked. "They're tracking us," Kale said. "Even with Sarava's tricks, they'll catch up." Then Sarava's face appeared on the ship's small hollow screen. "You need to dock with me," she said. "My ship has fuel and faster engines. We'll leave the repair craft and go together." "Sounds good," Callan replied. "Where are you taking us?" Sarava gave a soft smile. "Somewhere safe, for now." They joined her ship in deep space, away from busy trade paths and patrol zones. Her ship was beautiful, sleek silver outside and warm gold inside. The lights were soft, the seats comfortable. It was designed by her mother long ago, meant for peace missions and travel across the stars. Callan stepped inside and looked around. "This doesn't feel like a warship." "It's not," Sarava said, "but it can outrun almost anything." Brenny chuckled. "I like this girl." Kale sat down at the new controls. "This ship? It's old, but it's brilliant." Sarava handed Callan a healing patch and pressed it gently to his side. "You okay?" she asked. Callan nodded. "Thanks to you." Far behind them, on Vahar Prime, the Royal Fleet returned without success. The High Council gathered in their tall white chamber. A giant hologram of Sarava lit up the center of the room. "She has committed treason," one council member said. "She has risked our peace with Earth," said another. Lord Valen stood quietly. His hands were clasped behind his back. He was calm, but inside his heart was torn. "She is my daughter," he said at last. "But even she must face justice." The council nodded. They placed a galaxy-wide bounty on Sarava, Callan, and their crew wanted for prison break, theft, and treason. The reward, 10,000 solar credits, alive. On Sarava's ship, they watched the news in silence. Kale leaned back. "Well, that's a lot of credits. We're famous now." Bren grinned. "I've had prices on my head before. Never this high, though. Callan looked at Sarava. They'll never stop chasing us now. I know, she said softly. But I'm not going to run forever. Later, they gathered around a glowing map of the galaxy. Sarava pointed to a small system on the edge of known space. This planet is called Trenexus 4. It's home to a group of free colonies, alien, human, mixed. They don't follow any council, no laws, no rulers. Sounds like chaos, Bren said. Sounds like freedom, Callan replied. Sarava nodded. We go there, lay low for a while, maybe build something new. Kale tapped the map. I know a guy there, a tech smuggler named Arvo. He can help us disappear, or fight back. Fight back? Callan asked. Kyle looked serious. You don't understand what you did. You didn't just escape a prison. You made people question the law. People are talking, Sarava added. Some say the human was right, that the law is wrong. Bren chuckled. That's how rebellions start. Callan looked at the stars. I didn't want to start a war, I just wanted to help. But now, Sarava said, stepping beside him, you might help more people than you ever imagined. They reached Trenexus 4 after 2 jumps. The planet was dry and red, with 3 suns in the sky and a wide desert below. But there were cities, small ones, full of strange ships and people from 100 different worlds. No flags, no uniforms. Just freedom. They landed near a canyon city called Red Drift. As they stepped off the ship, Callan looked around. Vendors shouted, selling parts and food. Children with glowing eyes chased hoverbikes. Robots argued with traders. No one cared about who you were, only what you could offer. I like this place, Bren said. Sarava smiled. Let's find Arvo. Arvo turned out to be a short, round alien with 6 fingers and a head like a stone. He ran a scrapyard full of broken ships and strange machines. Kale greeted him with a hug. This is the crew I told you about, Kale said. The rebels. We're not rebels, Callan said quickly. Arvo laughed. That's what all rebels say at first. He showed them inside to a back room filled with screens and scanners. You're not just wanted, he said. You're inspiring people. I have messages from 10 worlds, small groups, secret voices. They're asking if they can help. Help with what? Callan asked. Sarava answered. With change. They stayed in Red Drift for 2 weeks. During that time, they helped repair ships, shared food with locals, and kept a low profile. But news spread. A group of miners from the ice world Yeltrax sent word, we want to speak out. A group of students from the moon Visari sent a message. We believe in the human. Even some Vihari citizens whispered, the law is old, the law is blind. Callan sat in the scrapyard one night watching the red suns fall behind the cliffs. Sarava joined him. You didn't ask for this, she said. No, he replied. But maybe I was meant for it. She nodded slowly. Maybe we both were. The peace didn't last. One morning, a black ship appeared above the city. It didn't carry a flag, but everyone knew what it was. A royal hunter, a bounty seeker, fast, deadly, ruthless. It had followed their trail. Alarms rang across Red Drift, Arvo. Rushed in. You've got to leave now. Callan grabbed his pack. Where's Bren? Already at the ship, Kale said. He's ready to blast off. Sarava stood by the door. They came for me, not you. We're not leaving you, Callan said. We do this together, Kale added. They ran through the scrapyard, the sound of the hunter ship growing louder. Laser shots hit the ground behind them. Bren opened the ramp. Get in. They leapt aboard. The engines roared. The ship lifted off. As they climbed into the sky, the hunter ship chased them, firing blasts of blue light, shields holding. Kale shouted, but not for long. Callan sat at the side guns. Let me try something. He aimed at the canyon walls. Everyone, hang on. He fired. The blast hit the rocks, causing a landslide. Huge stones crashed down, blocking the hunter's path. The hunter ship spun out and hit the side of a cliff. Their ship escaped into the clouds. They flew high above the world, hearts racing. We can't keep running, Callan said. Sarava stood beside him. Then we stop running. She turned to the others. It's time to fight. Not with weapons, but with truth. Kyle nodded. We start broadcasting. Tell the real story. Show people the truth. Bren grinned. And if they still come after us, Kalen smiled. Then let them. The ship floated quietly above the dusty world of Trinexus 4. Inside, the crew worked in silence. Everyone knew this was the moment that would decide everything. Sarava stood at the center of the control room. Her hands hovered above the ship's old broadcast console. It hadn't been used in years, but Kale had fixed it just in time. We're live across the galaxy, Kale said. Anyone with a receiver can hear us. Even Vahar Prime. Callan sat beside Sarava. His side still hurt from the wound, but his voice was steady. Let's do this. Sarava nodded. This isn't just about us. It's for all the people who live in fear, who follow laws they know are wrong. Kyle pressed the button. The red light blinked on. They were live. People of the galaxy, Sarava's voice began. This is Princess Sarava of House Valen, but today I do not speak as a royal. I speak as someone who has seen the truth. Across planets and stations, screens lit up. In market stalls, in quiet homes, even in Vahari classrooms, people stopped and listened. Months ago, Sarava continued, a human named Callan Rowe broke our law. He stepped into danger to protect me, even when others did nothing. For that, he was arrested and sentenced. Her voice became stronger. I broke him out. Yes, I broke the law. I helped him escape because I believe no law should punish kindness. Callan spoke next. My name is Callan Rowe. I was just a soldier. I didn't plan to be a hero. I only saw someone in trouble and helped, but they called me a criminal. He paused. But now I know I wasn't alone. I've heard from many of you, miners, students, engineers, farmers. You've all told us the same thing. You want change. Kyle appeared on the screen. This isn't about fighting with weapons, it's about telling the truth, about waking up. Then Sarava spoke again. If you believe the law must serve the people, not rule them, then speak up. You are not alone. Kale ended the stream. The red light went dark. Now they had to wait. The galaxy shook. The broadcast spread like fire. On the moon of Visari, students marched in silence holding signs. Kindness is not a crime. On the mining world of Yeltrax, workers refused to power royal ships, blocking the hangars. Even in the heart of Vahar Prime, a few brave voices began to whisper, she's right. In the High Council chamber, the screen showed Sarava's face again and again. The members shouted, argued, slammed their fists. She must be stopped. She has caused rebellion. But Lord Valen sat silently. He watched his daughter speak, not as a princess but as a leader. He finally stood. I do not agree with her methods, he said slowly. But I agree with her message. Gasps filled the room. You support her? One voice asked. I support the truth, he answered. Meanwhile, the crew stayed hidden in the deep canyons of Trinexus 4. They took turns watching the scanners. Any sign of a hunter ship could mean death. One morning, Kale ran into the room, eyes wide. You need to see this, he said. He brought up a live stream. It showed dozens of ships, old, rusty, mismatched, but flying together in a V-shape. Who are they? Callan asked. They call themselves the Free Stars, Kale said. They saw the message and they're coming. For us? Bren asked. Sarava smiled. No, they're coming for the same reason we spoke, to protect freedom. But not everyone agreed. 2 days later, a royal warship appeared in orbit. It was huge, with black armor and gold symbols. Its name glowed in red letters, Justice of Vahar. A message came through. This is Captain Varen. You are under arrest for treason. Surrender now or be destroyed. Inside their ship, the crew stayed calm. We can't fight that ship, Bren said. One hit and we're gone. We won't fight them, Sarava said. We'll talk. She opened a channel. Captain Varen. I am Princess Sarava. You know who I am. I know you, the captain said coldly. and I am loyal to your father's law." "Then listen," she said. "I am not your enemy, but if you destroy us, you destroy something greater, hope." There was silence. Then a second message appeared on their screen. It was Lord Valen. He looked tired, but calm. "Sarava, my daughter," he said, "you have broken many laws, but perhaps the laws were broken before you." Everyone froze. "Lord," Valen looked at Callan. "Human, you are free." He turned to the captain. "Stand down, Captain Varen, let them go." The captain frowned. "My lord?" "This is an order. From the true voice of Vahar." The warship stopped moving. Cheers erupted inside the ship. Kyle jumped up. "We did it!" Bren laughed. "That's how you win without a single shot." Callan turned to Sarava. "Your father, he listened." She nodded. "He's wiser than I thought." Weeks passed. The council was forced to change. They removed the old law that punished saving other species. They opened talks with human leaders and others. New voices joined the debate, and the galaxy began to feel lighter. Callan and Sarava visited Vahar Prime one last time. They walked through the garden where they first met. "You changed everything," Callan said. "We did it together," Sarava replied. He smiled. "So what now?" She looked at the sky. "Now we help others. One world at a time." Back on their ship, Kale installed a new beacon on the deck. It read, "The Free Stars, Truth, Freedom, Hope." Bren raised his cup. "To the new age." Sarava and Callan raised theirs. "To the age where no one is punished for doing the right thing." And across the galaxy, stars burned brighter. The end.